to walk in nature and sense that God is everywhere. The gifts, the beauty.
Embrace the mystery of God in our lives individually and collectively.
Francis of Assisi had such a deep understanding of the Creator.
He saw that incredible sense of relationship, which is foundational if we talk about harmony and peace.
Franciscan values has to do with a way of living and relating. We use in our mission statement, compassionate presence for the world. We want to bring about peace in relationships.
We stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before us. That live history.
Led by the Spirit.
Where needs have arisen and we've been invited or we see them, we respond.
I pursued a career in education I felt could really affect change. My ministry in working with men and women in corrections was not only assisting them with the skills that they needed, but it was also in ways of helping them find ways to find success in themselves. It had been maybe 5, 10, 20 years since some of them had been in school. They began with little successes. You know, it might be as simple as writing a paragraph. They would begin to feel good about themselves. I listened, and they built up a sense of trust. Sometimes the probation officers would say, you know more of their story than I do. Sharing your own presence, I think, is what really calls out compassion. And that was why I felt the ministry was so very important.
Inspiring others. You're communicating to this person, you can do it. You can do it. You're somebody, you have dignity. That's the compassionate presence.
Jesus said the poor would always be with us. But we need not to be satisfied that we've done enough, but to say, as long as there are poor, how can I reach out and make a difference?
I entered in 1949, so I guess that would make it 65 years. Wonderful years. I have always been able to be associated with and work with the poor, the marginalized. Finally got to be a missionary in Peru at the age of 50 and was there for a total of 21 years. Worked a lot in medicine, working with the healthcare workers, working with teachers, training liturgists. I'm happy that I'm able to help some people learn English. It's enabling them, empowering them. My first experience in mission was teaching first grade, and I've never lost the love of little children. I also work in the resource room, open one day a week for the poor to come to get basic necessities. We see people who have just gotten out of jail, or we see homeless. I see daily the suffering of the immigrants who live in fear and live in the shadows. And to be able to accompany them in some way is a joy for me. I receive more than I give. My own spirit is richer because of having met those people.
Empowering people, the ability to empower one another and encourage and support. I think that's a strong gift that our congregation has received from the Spirit.
To go about bringing peace in the world, to be peacemakers. Francis and Clare of Assisi never set out to do a big institutional project. It was only relating one person at a time.
Just wherever I was led. 33 years here in the States, primary and secondary education, and 33 years active in missionary area in Cambodia and in Sierra Leone. I think how little we realize what people are suffering. Extreme poverty. And that always sinks deep into my heart. The idea of such poverty.
Sister Josine is such a competent teacher. Her zeal to have the students become the very best people they can be.
We started with 127 adults who needed English to work, who were helping to rebuild Cambodia. When I left, there were 900 students, and now there are almost 5,000.
She planted a seed and taught others. My goodness, it's flourishing.
She's tireless as an educator. The fact that she is continues to tutor says everything about who she is.
I could say that without God's grace, I could do nothing. It was all God's gift. You don't dwell on your age, you dwell on how much grace God's give you to be able to continue to serve.
When I think of so much chaos in families, in jobs, instability, and grab at this and grab at that, and how do we keep letting a light is a hopeful light shine within that world?
The leaders of the next generation need to have compassionate hearts so that they see that they are persons with leadership skills to make a difference in society. They are ready to give, but they need to have someone make them aware of what the needs are outside of themselves.
I think the greatest thing are the small acts that the sisters do daily.
People ask, will you pray for this? I'll ask the sisters. You know there's a powerhouse of prayer.
An example of moving to a new ministry that we could not have imagined 6 years ago would be the efforts right now for education to raise awareness of human trafficking.
The best I can see to achieve change and help people is to belong to the church. It's a very deep and yet tranquil joy to be able to be part of something that's good, that's doing good in the world, bringing people closer to God.
Over the years, the Sisters of St. Francis always depended upon their benefactors. Many of our sisters went into diversified ministries with no guarantee of salaries. Only because of the goodness of people can we move forward and continue to make a difference.
Where needs have arisen and we've been invited or we see them, we respond.
We don't sit down, we just are tireless in the work that is before us.
I'm here to serve till I no longer can.
There's so much joy all around us.
The Sisters of St. Francis are sharing the meaning of their lives, the source of their spiritual joy, and partnering in relationships so together we have a better society.